Hello everyone and welcome back to more Seduce Me to the Demon War. We are back again for the fifth time. We are on the last of the brothers. Of course we still have Diana to go, but anyways, last of the brothers because in the last episode we finished off Matthew's route, which was conquering and getting over the control of the demon lord had on Matthew, and then also ultimately killing his own mother because she gone cray. So that's what ended up happening, and that was like his end of the route. And also, bonus was that it's either, which I find really interesting, is that there are options where you can actually kill off Diana, or in the end you save Diana, and then it goes on like regularly when she comes to talk to you after celebration. You can choose to kill her then by poisoning her, or not. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, we are now moving on to Damien's route, and again, I'm not going to include the good beginning portions of it because it's all the same in the demo play that I did. So please go back, refresh yourself, watch that, and then come back here to go watch the rest of his route because it's not going anywhere. But anyways, to sum it up, from what I can remember, ooh, that got loud. That got loud. Anyways, from what I can remember, I think the beginning, once you start his route, the whole like dream sequence that she has or something like that, like how it's all dark and it's like you only hear voices. So I think for Hannah's, in the beginning of Damien's route, she hears Damien and then she eventually sees him chained to a bed with Diana like on top of him, just trying to coerce him to do something. I don't even know, I forgot. But like there was a barrier that was preventing Hannah from getting to Damien, and Diana was just harassing Damien on the bed. And I think she was also going on about, she was like spouting nonsense about how oh, you don't consider his feelings, like you took away his powers of being a demon, blah blah blah, something like that, and trying to make us feel guilty about it, even though we know that Damien was the one who wanted to become human. So she wakes up from that nightmare. I don't know if it went on to doing sexy time or not, or if Damien just comforted us or something. I don't even know. But anyways, I think afterwards is when we spent a day at breakfast, because now we have to come into terms that, or remind ourselves that Damien is in fact human in his route, not compared to like the other brothers where he's still an incubi. So we're just chilling in bed, and then we're just watching James unveil new toys for the line because he's CEO, and then we're having breakfast in bed, and then I don't know if that led to sexy time. I can't remember. I totally forgot like bits and pieces, but I remember important parts. So we were all cuddly and stuff. I don't know, and then and then she had another nightmare sequence where she went to bed and then she woke up and then she sees Damien, and he's like not himself. He's like this really creepy kind of like dude, and he's just not saying anything. He's just being creepy. And then afterwards, it changed to a scene where she was at the in the abyssal plains at the demon lord's castle, and she was. Damien, Diana, and her were fighting the demon lord, and then Diana was like, I don't know, she was like struggling or some shit, or I don't know, but like Damien stepped in with a sword in his hand and he took on the demon lord, and then afterwards like the castle started to collapse. I forgot why, maybe because the demon lord did some shit, and so the castle started to collapse, and then in the end Damien was the one who told Diana to get Hannah out, and that in turn looks like he sacrificed himself to kill the demon lord to keep him there. And then that's the end of her nightmare sequence. I don't know if that led to sexy time, whatever. Anyways, regardless, we moved on afterwards to the wedding day, and we were getting ready in our room, and of course we hear Diana's voice, except Diana's voice is just like really like she's sinister. She's not the homegirl that we knew, so she's just like again taunting us about Damien's circumstance and what we had to do and blah 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 blah. Just again trying to start a shitstorm with us in terms of what happened to Damien. So afterwards, once Hannah dispelled that shadow of Diana, that's when we got pulled into the abyssal plains, and that's where we will continue off from there. So anyways, yes, I will show you guys the beginning portion, like the intro, I guess. Intro matter of where Kay was just talking about, oh, Damien, did you know, blah, blah, blah. And anyways, yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, let's get going.
Hold on Before you start the game, I need to ask you a few things. Don't want you getting lost now.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know why is this so fucking loud. Preferences. Why is the voice acting suddenly so loud, and why is the fucking, like, background music so loud too? Okay, stop. Okay. Sorry, technical problems. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me.
First of all, have you read the first story?
Yes, I did, and then,
Okay.
and of course, yes.
Awesome. Next question.
You do know this is Damien's route, right? You know the demon that wanted to be a human, that the bastard son. Yeah, why do you already gotta refer to him like that? God, okay. Yes, but I do know.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right then. Damien is such a precious soul, and he deserves to be happy.
Precious soul, precious cinnamon roll, deserves to be happy to appear for this world.
Anyway, I have one
Yes.
last
Anyways,
question
that's
for you.
all she has to say for Damien. So I'm gonna skip on ahead, and you're gonna just go to the part where they drop on in. So yeah. Okay, made it. Made it. Okay, so yeah. So anyways, through skimming through the whole beginning dialogues, I realized that yes, even though I did say like Hannah's issues with the whole Damien turning him into human stuff and so on, that's the whole like problem, and that's the whole conflict that she has. And apparently, yeah, she still kind of feels bad. Like low-key feels like she didn't make the right choice. That was like the point of the whole like thing. So anyways, that's another thing to mention. But yeah, whatever. We're here now. We here. I watch as the boys and the girls finally planted themselves on the ground before looking around. Damien's eyes locked onto me, and he hurried towards me. Hello, Damien, cinnamon roll. Hello, pumpkin. I swerved around Diana and rushed to Damien, meeting him halfway and wrapping my arms around him tightly.
I'm so glad you're safe.
Yeah, I'm great. I took in his scent, his warmth. He was here in my arms, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. Damien seemed to feel the same as he wrapped his arms around my forearm and buried his face in my shoulder. Give him a squeeze. Simply enjoy the moment. Give him a squeeze. I'm gonna squeeze you. Squeeze you like a little Furby. Nah, those are creepy. Anyways, I tightened my hold on Damien, slightly expressing my love and happiness at seeing and feeling him again. He squeezed back lovingly, peppering my neck with kisses. Oh, wow, they're all so mad. All because he is the younger brother, right? He's like the youngest, so they're all like, who the fuck? Who the fuck with his girl? And that means you fuck with us. As Damien and I had our moment, his brother stepped up near us, almost in a protective circle. Sam, however, moved towards Diana, glaring hard.
You've got 10 seconds to explain why she's here, bitch.
Oh my god, so aggressive. Just chill, relax.
I'm going to ignore that insult for the sake of the bride. However, I wasn't the one who brought her here.
Yes, exactly. So calm down, relax, relaxation. Stop screaming.
You're such a terrible liar.
Stop it, God. I turned to see Matthew and Sam standing in front of me, and Damien ready to attack Diana. The succubus in question, however, seemed unfazed by their attempts at intimidation. Well, you don't know that. You don't know she's lying because she's not lying, actually. Guys, let's chill. Let's just calm down.
Did she bring you here?
No, she didn't. Plot twist, what? Turning my head back to Damien, I saw a serious look in his eyes. I had only seen that look once before. When Diana had confronted me and showed me his past, I shook my head. No, she didn't bring me here. It was the demon lord. Yeah, it was your asshole of a father.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure. I mean, I stayed here for a couple days, and I'm looking fine and dandy. Yes. I stared at Damien, seeing something in his eyes ignite like an angry flame that was quickly growing. His hold on me tightened as he looked at Diana.
Why did he bring her here?
Because he's a dick, you know? I thought you would know that. I looked over to Diana, knowing that she would explain, but I was surprised to see her flinch back at his expression. Was she scared? Shaking her head, Diana cleared her throat and looked back to Damien, settling back into her uncaring gaze.
He wanted to lure you all back, knowing that at least you, Damien, would chase after her, and the others would follow. Obviously, his plan worked.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm happy you guys are here. We're gonna be a happy family together. This time it was the boys who flinched in surprise, feeling the weight of her words. However, Damien gathered himself and spoke up again.
Well, thank you for keeping her safe. We'll be...
Nope, we can't leave.
She can't leave.
Yeah, I can't leave. Sorry. Yeah.
And why not?
I've been cursed.
She's been cursed by the demon lord. She can't leave unless she dies or until we kill him.
Yeah, haha, complications.
You plan to kill him?
Well, duh.
We're obviously not going to choose the former. We've been fighting the Demon Lord for 10 years now. Might as well have another reason to kill him.
Right, exactly. My eyes looked to Damien, wondering what he was thinking. Diana then shrugged.
However, it will take some time to plan out our attack. We can't just walk into his castle and slit his throat.
True, but for the most part, it's been working, kind of. Damien finally looks back at me, staring into my eyes as if he was trying to find some sort of response. I stared back, trying to find some hint as to what he was thinking about in his eyes. He slowly leaned forward and kissed my forehead before turning his head back to Diana.
How much time do you need?
She said 2 weeks, 1 week. 1 week.
1 week.
Yes, 1 week. I was right this time. I shot my head towards Diana in surprise, as did the rest of the occupants of the room. Seriously, 1 week? Yes, 1 week.
Where is this number coming from?
Okay, let's
Succubus?
skip on ahead, and maybe I'll include some bits and this extra stuff that's different. Anyways, here I can just show you the part where Diana changes our little wedding gown into something appropriate. So I blushed, getting used to the feely outfit. Of course, it wasn't tight, but it was still something new, along with the rest of the garb. Damien smiled and wrapped an arm around my shoulder, hugging me to him.
You look really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Faye, wrap
Okay,
it.
let's get on.
both
Let's
should
get
finish
on. The walk to the room was filled with awkward silence. What were we supposed to do here? Damien and I were both a human, and while yes, we both knew he'd have to help in the war, he wasn't a demon anymore. Yes, that is true. Just kind of taking it all in and letting it sink in. We gotta remind ourselves that hey, yeah, he's not a demon this time. I grimaced, feeling the nervousness of the situation take hold of me. This was going to be a rocky adventure. Who knew what would happen, what to expect? I could only guess time would tell. I gripped Damien's hand harder, letting my nerves sink in. Naturally, Damien smiled and kissed my forehead.
It's okay. Everything will be alright, I promise.
Okay, whatever you say. I nodded, but some part of me was still fearful despite his reassurance. We were in the demon world, humans in the demon world. I was worried what would become of Damien now that he was in his home plane as something he wasn't born as. I looked up at Damien, seeing him focus on following our guide to get us to our room. I was curious what was going through his mind. I was sure he was worried when I was taken, but now that he had me back, what was he thinking of now? Well, just how to get the fuck out of here kind of thing, and how we're gonna do this. For a moment, I really wished I had his mind-reading ability. I wanted to know what went through Damien's mind at everything we did, at every step we made, at every event that came along the road. Well, I don't know if you want that 24/7, but now I guess it would be helpful. Feeling my stare, Damien turned his head and looked down at me, furrowing his eyebrows in confusion.
What is it?
I just wish I could read your mind. I lightly bit my lip. Did I want to tell him what was on my mind? Nothing. What do you think about this whole thing? Let's talk about it. Let's just, talking about it makes it better, I had to verbalize my curiosity. Damien took in the question before turning the hall once again, frowning a bit.
I think it's a really bad situation. You're trapped here, and I'm human, so I can't do much to help in the war.
But you can still fight, right? I mean, the good old-fashioned way, As Damien squeezed my hand, however, I felt my heart flutter a bit.
Still, I want to help and bring you back. I'll do everything I can to send us back home.
Aw, that's the spirit. Damien. I naturally hugged his arm to me, causing him to gasp a bit and look over, a faint blush running across his cheeks. He was so adorable and I absolutely loved him. Whatever drew him to me made my heart feel absolutely lucky to have him. Bless. As we reached our room, I took in that the ambassador room I had claimed the night before was officially sanctioned for me and Damien. The others were given rooms in another part of the castle, so we had some space to ourselves. Yes. Stepping in, I took a seat on the bed, feeling mild exhaustion sweep over me. However, Damien looked around the room in slight awe. I tilted my head, wondering why. Damien stepped around the room, looking around and observing every piece of decor. As he got to the mantel, he looked almost stunned to see the design and architecture of it. It was almost like watching a little kid walk into a museum. Well, yeah, it's this is really different. Damien? My voice caught his attention, causing Damien to jump up and look at me in surprise. As he calmed down, he rubbed the back of his neck in nervousness.
Sorry, I've never really been in a room like this before, so this is a bit of a surprise to me.
I know, me too. The first time I came in as well, so it's just you and me both. Really? What kind of room did you have? I stared at Damien in shock. He really never saw a room like this. We were in the demon world though. How could have this been not familiar to him? I was positive that he would have at least seen a room like this in his time here. Well, you kind of forgot that he wasn't exactly the favorite child of the demon lord, you know. Damien shook his head in reply.
I never had a room growing up.
Yeah. Oh, the poor baby. My heart suddenly crumbled in my chest. I knew that Damien was the mistreated bastard son of the demon lord, but to not have a room, that was almost cruel. Well, what do you expect? I couldn't help imagine Damien sleeping on the cold marble floor of the grand hall, or even in a cell. My soul began to weep for him, but I knew that it was just better to ask him about his experience than assume the absolute worst cases. How did you sleep then?
Well, demons don't sleep at all, actually.
Yes, we did learn that from Matthew's round. Yes. That made absolutely no sense. Well, Matthew explained it to us, so it makes perfect sense to us, viewers, but not to Hannah in this moment. Wait, what? They don't? Why do they have beds and stuff then? Just cause, you know, like, what's the room without a bed, you know? Damien blushed a bit with a grimace across his lips.
Well, other than having, sex, demons rest. Like lying down and reading or something like that, but demons never close their eyes for long. It opens them up to being taken advantage of.
Yes. Yeah. We already got that explanation. But yeah, anyways, it's like we can't have, you know, an entire castle, all these rooms, and then it's like none of them have a bed in it, or like a couch or a sofa. It's like, come on. And then how the heck do demons function? Again, you know, food, and then there's like energy.
With energy and food.
Yes.
As long as a demon has both, or at least one or the other, they can keep functioning without needing to sleep. Lying down simply lets them stop using their energy.
Oh, okay. Alright. Makes sense. Then what about in the human world? Were you and the others pretending to sleep? Yeah. Were you? Damien shook his head, driving another confused wedge into my brain. What? Demons could sleep then? But only if they wanted to. But they absolutely didn't need to, so they didn't have to? Yes, that's exactly it. So I can only assume because, again, like he said and like what Matthew said, they can function on energy and food, and if they have one or the other, then they're good. But again, since they were in the human world, it's like, come on, you can't constantly be eating, and you can't constantly be, you know, finding somebody to have sex with. So yeah, it's like, obviously they have no choice but to sleep. So yeah. Damien laughed a bit at my confusion.
When we went to the human world, we got to experience sleep for the first time. It was so good for us, and we felt relaxed, so we kept at it, like regular humans. Besides, the risks we had here are not the same as the risks in the human world.
Right, so it's all good, that's why. That is why. There was still a lot I had to learn about demons, apparently. Not that I needed to know, but my curiosity about them grew more the more I learned about them. Damien smiled and walked over to sit beside me and kiss my cheek.
I think we'll be safe to sleep, though. This is Lilith Castle, after all.
Right, and like, nothing gets past Diana. Lilith Castle? This place has a name. Yes, we already know that as well. Coming this far, we already know a lot of shit. With a nod, Damien pointed over at the mantle, tracing through the air at the markings in the stonework.
If I remember right, James told me about the first succubus, Lilith, and how she gave birth to incubi and succubi from this very castle. Diana is her descendant, so she now owns this place.
Right? Isn't that great? Wow. So Diana really was a princess. I was a bit surprised to confirm that fact, but in the end it made sense. She had the attitude of one, that was for sure. Yeah. Damien wrapped an arm around my shoulders and smiled.
At least we'll get some good sleep tonight.
Indeed. We can keep on sleeping, yeah. I could feel that we would be okay in our room. The castle was well fortified from what I knew, and Diana seemed to be on top of making sure everything ran smoothly, as did the other rebel leaders. Everything was like a well-oiled machine. Yes. I leaned my head on Damien's shoulder, letting out a small sigh. God. I'm sorry. What do you mean?
Huh? For what?
Is she still, like, you know, letting the fact that she turned him into a human, like, eating her up on the inside? Is that it? I looked up at Damien, remembering that I had been gone an entire day. I must have worried him sick and made everyone else go crazy at my absence, not only from the wedding but from the entire human world. No, you're just, again, he's gonna explain to us the whole time difference. For going missing, I was gone for a whole day. Now he was just like, you were gone for 5 hours, girl. Don't, it's okay. You tripping. Damien stared at me for a moment before smiling and kissing my forehead.
Were you really here a whole day?
Yes, I was. I furrowed my eyebrows, staring at him, trying to figure out if he was joking or being serious. Seeing my expression, Damien let out a small laugh and hugged me to his side.
To me, you were only gone for about 4 or 5 hours.
That's great. At least that's great, you know. Wait, what? Yes, we're gonna get the whole explanation. That could not be. There was no way that I was gone for that short period of time. I remember sleeping in this room, going through an entire day of being in this world, and trying to get home to him twice. That definitely did not add up. Well, it's called time difference, God. With a small smirk, Damien released me and placed his hands on my head.
Time runs differently between the human and demon world. A whole day here is about 5 hours in the human world. You weren't gone very long.
That's great, because, you know, that means I wasn't missing for long. My jaw dropped every time. Yeah, my jaw dropped, even time was different here. The world was full of surprises. Yeah, this world was full of surprises. I felt myself hold my cheeks and try to take it in. How did everyone react? Well, you know, Jedi mind tricks. Everyone's just like, go home and nothing happened, nothing to see here, and then yeah, it's all good. Damien frowned a bit and gently wrapped his arms around me, hugging me fully to him and resting his head on mine.
We were all worried sick about you.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm sorry, but I had no control over it. Damien. I could only imagine what Damien went through in those 5 hours. When I didn't arrive, what was the first thing he did? What was the first thing anyone did? I felt guilty, but I also knew that what had happened was out of my hands. Yes. Damien let out a small sigh and kissed my head.
When you didn't show up, we sent the girls to find you while my brothers managed to wipe everyone's memories and delay the wedding for a couple of days. We didn't know how fast it would take us to find you.
Oh, isn't that good? Damien's grip tightened around me as he pulled me even closer to him.
I had to rely on my brothers to find you. There was no clue to where you were taken, so I had to sit and wait until they managed to locate you, here.
Oh.
And we came.
Okay. So, no Simon Tabby helped. Okay. Then you came, yes. Lie in his arms, embrace Damien. I'ma hug you to me. Feel my warmth. I was stunned by the love I was given by Damien. Despite being human, he traveled through the gates of worlds to try and find me. I was lucky to have a loving man like him. My only regret was being in this world instead of at the altar with him. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you thought I must have ran away. I must have like self-doubted you or some shit, and I'm so sorry for having to put you through all those emotions. I wrapped my arms around Damien and pressed my forehead to his shoulder, closing my eyes and taking in his scent and love. Eventually, Damien pulled away and stared down at me with a tired smile. Oh, we should sleep.
We should get some rest. There's a long week ahead of us.
Yeah, indeed. The longest week you'll ever experience. I nodded in agreement, knowing exactly what he meant. We slowly crawled into bed and snuggled into each other's arms, embracing the darkness of slumber once more. I wonder if we're gonna get a nightmare. Maybe. For sure, I think. As sleep welcomed me, a thought ran through my mind. What would happen? Obviously, the boys would help fight in the war, but what about Damien? He was indeed human and had no abilities to use as such. Well, he could still swing a sword, I'm sure. Then again, maybe he could still use magic as a human. Carrie was able to do so, and she was human, but she was a witch trained in magic. Damien's abilities came with his demon side, which he no longer had. How would he fight then? The old-fashioned way! God, jeez. He's not completely helpless. The question floated around in my mind and in my dream as I drifted to a calm and peaceful sleep. Are you sure? Peaceful and calm? Huh? Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Why can't I sleep?
Oh! Why can't you sleep? Oh my, why not?
Something's wrong.
Oh. What do your sixth sense? Maybe even though he lost his demon abilities and shit like that, he still has like a sixth sense kind of thing.
Something is indeed wrong, boy. You're in the demon world, and you won't even acknowledge your demon side.
Wait, why is this happening? Why is homegirl the antagonist here, but at the same time she's also like, protagonist? What is going on? Who is doing this? Who is disrespecting my girl? Homegirl, don't do this.
Huh? What are you doing here?
What is this? This has to be some sort of trick.
Observing a disappointment for amusement. You keep continuing to fail at living so much that it's become a wonderful form of entertainment.
Or maybe you know how we discovered that Diana has like this double side to her where she's like she has cruel Diana and then she has the normal regular like caring Diana. So maybe this is where her cruel side kind of actually forms and manifests itself like actually. Cuz we only ever see that side to her whenever she like gets really fucking angry. So yeah. Like wow, okay, wow, we're getting harassed by like Homegirl's evil twin. Nice. Okay.
The demon who lost his powers. Doesn't that sound absolutely ridiculous? Let's replace it with the demon whose wife almost became the demon lord's next bed bitch.
Wow, what? What the hell is with this, like, this animosity over here? Like, what did I do to offend you? Girl, you don't even know me. You don't even know me. And for the record, he didn't lose his powers. He wanted it to be taken away from him. So, let's just clear facts here. Don't get it twisted and don't be putting words in my mouth.
What do you want?
Oh, come now, don't be so hostile. You'll wake the human up.
Okay, well,
She and I are both human.
and then she's gonna be like, oh, you're denying yourself of your demon side again. Look at that.
I cannot believe it. Is that what you still think, boy? Do you truly believe yourself to be human?
Or maybe plot twist is like he had his powers reduced so much to the point where he actually does seem like he's human. But in reality, it's just that his powers now lay dormant inside him. So like, you know, he still has it, but he just doesn't realize it. What? I don't know. I'm just making theories again. I don't know. So we just gotta have to see.
Yes, no matter how many times you taught me, I know the truth. I am human.
Okay.
Well, I hate to break the delusion you may be under, but you should know that becoming a human is impossible for a demon.
Well, that's what Diana told us as well too before she actually revealed the fact that it's like, oh yeah, there is one way. And yeah, again, I'm gonna stick with my theory where it's like he thinks like Diana took his powers or drained him of his powers so much to the point where it looks like he seems like he's human, but in reality he only has like a little bit of it left and it just needs to be awakened.
That's not true. I've been a human for over 2 years now. I don't believe you.
Then you are more of a disappointment than I imagined. God, why don't you just give up? Then again, if you gave up, then I would lose my entertainment.
Okay, so it's not a win-win situation for you then, so you need to just stop. Why are we having this conversation right now?
Leave.
Yeah, dude, just get out. Just get the fuck out.
Fine, fine, I shall. But heed my words, boy. Tomorrow will be a very rough awakening for you. I can feel it.
Okay, that's very vague. Alright, whatevers. Okay. So it's not us that has trouble sleeping and having nightmares, but it's Damien this time. God damn. Wow. Okay, whatever. That's a change. The morning rose with me stretching and yawning the sleep out of my body. I surprisingly had a peaceful night, but apparently Damien didn't, as he wasn't in bed with me. Uh-oh. I looked to the side to see him not under the sheets with me, but standing by the fireplace, staring into the flames with bags under his eyes. I slowly rose from the bed and covered my mouth as another yawn escaped me. Why you no tell me you can't sleep? Damien? Hey. At the sound of my voice, Damien looked over, eyes glazed over in exhaustion. I could tell that something had kept him up, so I slid my legs off the bed and walked over to him, wrapping my arms around him. What's wrong? Well, you know, voices keep, you know, taunting me and shit, and the sounds like Diana. I looked up into his violet and blue eyes, trying to find an answer within them, despite it being impossible. Whatever it was that kept him up, I wanted to know and tried to help. Still, Damien remained silent. Come on, you know what happens when we kept our silence with Matthew's route, huh? You know what happened? It's gonna come out some point. His arms, however, wrapped themselves around my form and gently pulled me against his body, leaning his forehead against mine. With a soft, tired sigh, Damien closed his eyes and gave me a small squeeze.
Did you sleep well?
I did, but that's not the issue right now. What about you? I nodded but remained concerned. If something was wrong, I wanted to know and try to help him get over it. Still, Damien said nothing and just smiled at me. Alright, if you're gonna just not say anything, I won't force it out of you, but just saying.
Good. That's good. Okay,
well, yeah, I guess one of us has to get a good sleep. Don't ask, what about you? What about you? I'm gonna ask him, I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna be fucking nosy. Eh. Wow, I'm taking up a lot of safe spaces. Okay, whatever. I seem to have a lot of it, so whatever. What about you? I need to know what was wrong. Something about Damien didn't seem to be okay, and I wanted to see what I could do. Yes. Damien simply stared down at me, exhaustion plaguing his eyes before shaking his head. Yeah, okay, I figured he wasn't going to say anything, but I tried. I didn't say I didn't try.
Nothing's wrong. At least, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, he's alluding to it. All right, you wanna, go into more details? Elaborate? Then why do you look so tired? Yeah. Damien pressed his lips together and looked down at the space between us, almost in shame. What was he hiding?
I didn't sleep much last night. Sorry.
It's alright. I'm not mad at you. I just want to know why. I furrowed my eyebrows and cupped his cheek. He was warm, probably from sitting in front of the fire for a long while. Still, I was now worried for Damien. Maybe you should head back to bed and try to catch some sleep. Yeah, take a power nap. Damien opened his mouth to speak, but was interrupted by the sound of a pounding fist at our door. Oh, God, Sam, this is worst timing ever.
Oi! Got some food! Let us in!
How did I know it was Sam? It could have been any one of the brothers to, do the shouting, but you know what? I knew it was Sam. Had a feeling.
Rise and shine!
Okay, good. Damien and I stared at the door before holding hands and circling around the bed. Sorry, had a little bit of a gas bubble in my throat. Circling around the bed to sit on the edges of it. As we settled onto the mattress, Damien called out, masking his exhaustion.
Come in.
Okay. The door opened to reveal the other incubi and their wives, who began to slowly file in with each with a plate of food in their hands. There, Carrie and Sam, however, had two each and passed us their extra plates.
There you go.
Thank you. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, homegirl.
There you go, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you, Sam.
No, you should have said bro. The group settled into the rooms, making themselves comfy, whether they were standing or sitting on the bench. As I looked down at the plate in my hands, I took note of the food. I took note of the food on it: jerky, cheese, fruit, and bread. Simple. I began to chow down on the fruit as James cleared his throat. All right, time to talk about the day.
So, we need to discuss training.
Right. Uh-huh. Sam and Matthew let out a simultaneous groan, obviously not in the mood to get into the conversation James wanted to start up. I thought Sam would. God.
Do we have to? Can't we wait until after breakfast?
Okay. Yeah, true. Food matters first.
As much as I would agree, we are strapped for time. We need to settle a plan, and soon.
Okay.
We train like we used to do. Go and kick the bastard's ass, then we go home. Done.
Oh, if only it was that simple. Sam began to stuff his face, finished saying his piece, as James pinched the bridge of his nose and let out a sigh of irritation. Carrie grabbed Sam's shoulder and shook it slightly, making him look up at her.
As awesome as you are, I don't think that'll be enough.
Right. Yeah.
Indeed. We may be 5 strong, but we'd still be going up against the man who has always been stronger than all of us combined.
True.
We need to think logically about this.
Uh-huh. Indeed.
Well, not to bring up the elephant in the room, but aren't you guys kind of downy, brother? At least demon-wise?
True, yeah, there you go. Bringing up the elephant in the room. Yeah, someone had to do it. Everyone looked over at Norn, taking in what she had said. She was right, Damien was human now and couldn't train like a demon, right? But he can train like a normal person. Damien looked down at his plate again and began to eat in silence. What was wrong? Well, this is this is awkward, okay? I'm just saying. The others continued to chat, ignoring me and Damien.
While Damien may be human now, he can still fight.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying too.
Any human can fight, really, if you piss them off enough. I think Damien's got more of a reason to be pissed off than anyone else.
True. Yeah, just get mad. Just do it Sam's way.
Yeah, all 5 of us can kick his ass. 4 demons in a human style.
4 demons. Okay.
Well, not exactly.
Oh, Diana coming in to ruin the party, but whatever. Voice of reasons. At that moment, everyone turned their heads to see Diana at the door. To my surprise, her expression was a very guilt-driven and regretful demeanor. Why? What are you gonna tell me? Something in my gut began to churn. What did Diana mean? What did she have in mind?
Not exactly?
What do you mean?
You're not exactly down a brother. At least not in the sense you are insinuating.
And so am I right? Am I totally, completely right about the fact that his powers are just really, really dormant and she can there's a way to just awaken them again. And she's gonna give him the option and he's gonna be like, oh my god, it's gonna conflict with my interests because I wanted to be human and I went through so much shit to do it. And now you're gonna give me back my powers and then, I may never go back to being a human like I wanted to be. Oh my god. Diana stepped further into the room, placing her hands together by her stomach and looking to Damien, who simply looked back at her with tired but stern eyes.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? Tell me. The room began to fill with a tense aura, making it clear that Diana was going to drop some sort of bombshell on us. In a fit of discomfort, Sam rolled his shoulders and practically spat out at Diana.
Well, out with it.
Yeah, I can't stand this tension either. Just say it. Just do it. With a heavy and low breath, Diana looked into Damien's piercing gaze, no longer able to hide what secret she was keeping.
Damien, can you read my mind right now?
He's gonna be like, no, of course not. Silence once again trickled into the air. I looked to Damien, now very confused and concerned. Did he still have his mind-reading abilities? I thought she turned him human. He wasn't a demon anymore, right? Wrong! It's gonna be some sort of plot twist, loophole shit going on, so let's see what's gonna happen. Oh! As I stared, Damien kept his gaze locked on Diana, concentrating on her. Eerily slowly, his eyes began to widen with fearful dread. There we go. Was he able to read her mind after all? Maybe. The next second became blurred as Damien pounced off of the bed and charged at Diana, slamming her into the wall by her neck. Oh my god, why are you getting so violent? Oh god.
You lied to me!
Oh shit.
Damien!
Okay, wow, maybe she did lie. Oh god.
Hey!
Hey now.
You swore that I would be human!
Yes, but what? Oh god. Hey, hello. I don't know. Okay, I was right on my hypothesis and my theories, but how am I right, I instantly stood, lost in the state of shock from seeing Damien lock Diana in a fist chokehold, pressing her hard against the stone wall behind her. Naturally, Diana gripped Damien's wrist, trying to pry it off of her.
Why can I read your thoughts?
Or maybe he has some sort of connection with her. Maybe because Diana took his powers, she, can connect it back to him, like a USB cord. Like an invisible USB cord. I don't know. Desperate for air, Diana lifted her legs up and kicked Damien off of her, vaulting him back to slam into Sam and Carrie. Diana buckled to the ground, coughing wildly, as Sam managed to catch Damien and keep them both upright as Carrie held onto the bench to keep from falling back. Nice catch, though. Damien! I instantly rushed over to Damien, pulling him from Sam's hold and wrapping my arms around him. He was shaking, and I caught sight of tears running down his cheeks, as if he was trying to disbelieve what was happening.
What did you do to him?
I don't know. That's what I want to know, too. Diana lifted her head and grasped her neck. However, her expression wasn't one of rage, but still of deep regret. She knew that this would happen, and this was a deserved punishment. She expected this. Or maybe because now he's back in the abyssal planes, it triggered his powers back. I don't even know.
I never turned you human. I only drained you of your energy through a ritual. It was supposed to completely wipe out any need for energy, making you human. But you've never been completely transformed.
Oh, okay. I get it. So I was right. I was halfway right. Halfway. Ha! Damien attempted to lunge at Diana again, causing me to instinctively grip onto him and keep him back. None of this made sense. If he was still a demon, then eventually he would have needed energy, yet there was no point where he drained it from me. Well, at least none that you know. I don't even know. At this point, it's like a game changer. It's like you gotta question everything. But Damien never felt like a demon. We've been practically magic-free for 2 years. That doesn't make sense.
I've had no magic, no mind reading for 2 years. I never felt the need to feed or drain any energy the entire time. How is this possible?
Well, she did say that he never fully transformed, so maybe he was halfway through the process. But I don't know what the rest entails. So yeah.
You're in the demon world. This world is full of magic, strong enough to rekindle your abilities. The human world is too pure to give your body the power it needed to convert back to your demon state.
I was right again. I was right on like my second half of the, well, kind of ish, sort of, because I did mention like another side theory was that, you know, because he's back in the demon world, that's when it triggered his powers back. Yeah, aha. This entire situation became a myriad of confusion. Damien never became human. Diana didn't fulfill her end of the deal. What was going on? I don't know. Damien eventually slumped into my arms, his adrenaline completely drained as he took in the truth of what had become of him. At the same time, the situation hit me as well. Damien was still a demon, unconsciously so, but still unchanged. A part of me was relieved, while the other part of me felt incredibly sorry for him. Yes. Ah, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, you're not.
No. Oh, what? Damien looked up at Diana, eyes full of tired rage. Diana stared back, flinching at the sight. I could feel the anger revolving around Damien's body as I held him close to me, which in turn almost frightened me.
You will never be sorry for anything. The Princess of Lilith is too prideful to give a damn about anyone but herself, and it's always been that way.
Oh, come on, Damien, you don't know that. Things have changed, you know? I could hear the venom snaking into his words as he struck them at the succubus. However, there was also deep pain and hurt. Who wouldn't be? He had been living a lie, and the reality of the truth was crashing down around him. Right, true. His world is just crumbling around him, and that evil Diana's voice just completely, totally warned us about it.
Was it funny? Tricking me into believing you? Oh, it must have been. Because you fooled me for the past 2 years, and managed to get away with my energy. You always get what you want, don't you?
Oh, no, don't. I'm pretty sure there's an explanation on Diana's side, too. Come on. That's enough, Damien. Don't say anything. Just don't say it. It's complicated, Damien. Everyone just needs to chill, relax. Yeah. He was right. He was right. This was unfair, but Diana did what was the closest thing to making him human. She didn't expect him to come back to the demon world and rekindle his powers, so in a way, she did give him what he wanted. Yeah, exactly. Like, had we continued to live in the human world with no interruptions of like the abyssal planes and going back to it, then we would have gone, on our normal daily lives. Diana slowly stood and rubbed her neck, rogue tears running down her face, but her expression contorted to one of cold hatred.
Well, the joke's on me, then. I returned to see my kingdom in flames and my family gruesomely slaughtered. So I guess I didn't get what I wanted either.
God, guys, come on. That caused silence to engulf the room. That news formed a dark pit in my stomach, forcing me to imagine such a scene and shake it out of my thoughts furiously. Damien didn't speak. Instead, he moved and sat down on the bed, his head in his hands as he curled over his knees. I followed, wrapping my arms around him comfortingly. Oh, man. Damien's brothers, however, each took a step towards Diana. Hey now, no more fighting.
Give Damien his energy back.
Oh, what?
Impossible.
I know, yeah, it's been 2 years, 10 years in the abyssal plane now. I'm pretty sure it's gone by then.
Like hell it is! If he's still a demon, he needs his energy to fight.
Okay, but you don't understand though.
I've spent the last 10 years fighting the Demon Lord with both of their energies. I'm not as powerful as I was then, so I no longer have the ability to give him anything without risking my life.
Yes, yeah, see? Told you.
Who said we gave a damn about you?
Oh, Sam, come on, you are living in her castle right now, so you have to at least show some respect. Sam stepped up to Diana, leaning nose to nose with her. His anger flared around his body, giving an intimidating warning that didn't seem to faze her.
You fucked over our brother. We don't give a shit about what happened because of your fuck-up. You're gonna fix this. Or else.
Oh my gosh. Damn, that bromance, that, broship, oh my god.
That's enough, Sam.
Yes, yelling and being intimidating is not gonna solve anything. Like, it's more complicated than just being like, oh yes, you want it back? Here you go. Eric, seemingly the only sensible one of the group of incubi, grabbed onto Sam's shoulder and pulled him away from Diana. Sam gave in, still glaring at the succubus before sitting down beside his wife on the bench. I, however, became torn. What was going to happen now? Damien was a demon again and was getting his powers back, yet Damien didn't want his powers back at all, even at the risk of being the odd brother out. This entire situation became a conglomerate mess of uncertainty and confusion that I had to lower my head and close my eyes for a moment. I know, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, but yeah. Diana wiped her eyes, letting out a small sigh before she glanced around the room.
I will do what I can to fix this issue. For now, however, you can correctly assume that the 5 of you are all demons and can fight with your incubus abilities.
Yes. Oh, with a cold glare, Diana locked eyes with Sam. As she spoke, Sarah, who had only just entered the room, stepped behind Diana to add to her intimidation. Oh, there we go, the power couple's here. Huh.
And if any of you dare step up to me and threaten me again, you will not live to see the final battle.
Oh, come on, Diana, don't be like that. Sam moved to stand, sudden anger flashing through his expression before Carrie grabbed hold of his arms and pulled him back down to sit beside her. Diana closed her eyes and took a breath before crossing her arms and regaining her professional composure. The air was filled with anxious irritation, but we had to let it go for now. We would hash everything out at a later time, but for now we had to focus on what was going to bring me and Damien home. And everyone else. Duh, God, we're all in this together. Can't be that selfish, girl. Alright, so here we go, the part where we have to choose our trainer, so I'm just gonna skip on ahead. Okay, so we basically did everyone from the rebel leaders group, basically, and all we have left is either Sero, there was Diana, and then there's the need for not having a trainer. So we're gonna actually choose Sero because he is in this line of list, so I just want to just complete it. So yeah, let's do it. Choose Sero. Sero seemed skilled enough to train me. He was Diana's right hand after all, and he was the one who apparently stopped the Demon Lord from getting his hands on me. Yes, I had to at least give it a shot. Hopefully he's not so much of a prick as Shadow, with like, you know, his spear stuck up his ass. Sero nodded and looked at Diana, who crossed her arms. Yeah.
You've made a good choice, I assure you.
Yes, of course. Of course you would, you would agree with my choice. Okay, there we go. We're gonna just skip on ahead. We're just gonna go to our first day of training with Sero. See how that turns out. I chose to train with Sero. He seemed to be very skilled, so I trusted him to train me the best to his ability. I didn't want to be a silent observer in this war. I would pull my weight. Maybe he's gonna teach us some like holy magic shit, because I think we can do holy magic, right? Sero brought me to the Grand Hall, which he had apparently claimed as his personal training grounds, as Sergeant had to use the official grounds for the army. Personal training grounds? In this room? Wow, okay.
When I train my lady, I bring her here. That way she is not seen by the army.
Okay, alright. Why would her being seen by the army be an issue?
It's not a matter of it being an issue. We simply choose to train together alone.
Alright, train together alone. I nodded. If Diana had her reasons, then that was enough for me. Sero nodded in return before holding his hand out to the side. Okay.
Now, do you have a preferred weapon of choice? Choose wisely. You need to focus and master one weapon if you wish to benefit from this training. I won't allow you to change your mind later.
Okay, fine. What do you have for me? I stared at Sero, unsure of why he would ask me that. However, I closed my eyes and thought to myself for a moment. There were a couple of weapons I could think of. Okay. I thought of a gun, but what if human guns were powerless here? After all, demons and magic. I'm like tripping over my words. Okay. I thought of a gun, but what if human guns are powerless here? After all, demons had magic on their side. If they were powerful enough, maybe even a speeding bullet could be blocked with ease. Yeah, true. I sighed. I thought of what melee weapons I could use. A spear surprised me. I already know Taekwondo. A sword. I don't know. A spear. I'm gonna copy you and choose a spear. I don't know. Surprise me. Ooh, surprise me. Oh, that's like a neutral choice. Like I don't really care. I already know Taekwondo. A sword. I know about a sword. Like a halberd, like those huge ass swords, but like those are too heavy. Surprise me. Seo stared in surprise. What? I was ambitious enough to try anything. Why not? He probably knew more about weapons than I did anyway. Yeah, exactly. So, like, what do you think is best for me? Seo then gave me a small smirk before allowing black and purple mist to envelop his hand. I found myself growing nervous. What if he gave me a small dagger or something really hard to learn? True. I began to regret electing for a surprise. Ah, shit. Oh, what in the hell is this? Eventually, the mist materialized into a strange object, a large lavender triangular blade sticking out from what looked like a round gauntlet. Huh? As Sero walked towards me, he formed a copy of the weapon in his other hand and handed both to me, the openings of each gauntlet facing towards me. I raised an eyebrow at him. Was he really expecting me to stick my hand in those? Oh, gauntlets! Jesus Christ, I was like, I'm trying to picture this. I'm like, where did my hands go? What the fuck? Oh, okay, cool, but they look pretty.
What, afraid to try something new now?
Shut up, I got this. I was just a little startled. I shook my head. I had asked for this and was confident enough to try them. I slid my hands into the gauntlets and felt my fingers brush against the inner handles, now allowing me to grip the weapons in each hand with ease. Alright, I lifted the weapons from Stable's grip and observed them. They seemed very light, almost feather-like, but I could feel energy pulsating from them. What are these? Yeah, what are these?
Gauntlet daggers. The human world has a similar version of these weapons called katars, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. I gotta look that up. But anyways, okay. Alright, they seem pretty light because it's magic.
They may be light, but they can be incredibly deadly if used properly. Imagine them as extensions of your arms.
That's with any weapons. That's what a lot of people say with any weapons. God, imagine it like an extension of your arms or your legs. I gulped. Would I be able to learn how to use these properly enough to defend myself? I wasn't sure. Well, you're gonna try. Today you're gonna learn. Sarah walked away from me before forming his spear and gripping it tightly, ready to begin our session.
Trust your instincts. I'll go slow so you can adjust yourself to the weapon. However, I won't remain slow for long.
Okay, Sero. He's very, like, proper teacher. I stared at Sero, not fully settling into what I had signed up for. I was learning how to defend myself and possibly how to kill someone. I felt a nervous shiver run up my spine before taking a breath, trying to relax my muscles. Seo seemed to take my breath as my signal to prepare as he took a step back and readied himself with a stance.
Are you ready?
Sure, come at me. Fight me. I nodded. I had asked to be trained. If I wasn't ready, then I wouldn't ever be, yeah. Sero crouched down, gripping his spear before lunging for me, ready to skewer me on its blade. No! Dodge. I reflexively jumped away, avoiding the tip of his blade. As I stepped to the side, I stared wide-eyed at how far he had thrust his spear, jamming it all the way through the space I was previously in. God! Was he really trying to kill me? I guess so. God damn it. Parry! I couldn't help but smirk as I stepped forward and practically backhanded his spear with the gauntlet of my katar, making it bounce away from my body and leaving his own body open for attack. Wow, goddamn, never would have expected to do some quick time events here. Jesus, I felt powerful as I readied to attack him. I lunged in and prepared to pierce him with my own attack. However, Sero moved his spear to cross his body, blocking my attack and pushing me back. I growled at myself at not seeing the strength of his defense. As I landed though, I saw a small smirk on Seo's face. Was he proud of me or was he mocking me? Either way, I used the momentum to lunge forward again, continuing our sparring match. Okay, we continued to train relentlessly through the day. Each break we had was small, but I understood why. I only had a week to learn how to fight after all. Time wasn't on our side when it came to me learning how to fight, or at least defend myself. As we finished our sparring session and slowed to take another break, I let out a sigh. I was exhausted, but I knew I had to keep going. If the incubi were going to keep training, then I had to keep up as well. Seo let out a small sigh and stretch, wiping some sweat from the side of his brow before looking to me. Did I do good?
Let's take a break for now.
Okay, fine. Yeah, good idea. I collapsed onto the floor on my rear and slouched over my crossed legs, thankful to no longer be on my feet. I thought Taekwondo was hard, but fighting with a weapon was proving itself to be even harder. I felt a little envious for people who were able to master weaponry.
I have to admit, I'm impressed. For the first time holding a weapon, you did pretty well. My lady had to train for months to try and use her weapon properly.
Take that, Dana. I'm so good. Well, what does Diana use? Yeah, what does she use anyways? I was curious about her. I knew she had magic, but did she really need a weapon? Of course, if her energy ran out, then she would need some sort of protection. Yes, exactly. Saber stared wide-eyed at me for a second before smiling softly.
She uses a saber, a curved sword. While regular straight swords are good for piercing your opponent, curved blades are made for slashing and cutting your opponent down. They're a little difficult to maneuver without in-depth training.
Okay, alright. Saber looked down at his hand, forming a saber with a black grip and a deep purple blade. It looked like a masterwork blade despite it forming out of his magic. As Saber stared at it, his smile brightened a bit.
A saber is much more graceful in combat than a regular sword. Anyone can wield it, but it takes a true master of the blade to use a saber properly and make a fight look like an elegant dance.
Okay, whatever, Saber. Whatever you say, Saber. I was in awe. I could see a soft shadow of adoration in his eyes as he spoke. Did he really adore his mistress that much? If you can't tell, then yeah. As if it wasn't obvious enough. All the time he's like, my mistress, my lady, blah blah blah. He's just my mistress, Diana this, Diana that. Like, you know, sometimes I get tired too. You seem to really care for Diana. Stero looked at me with a chuckle, yeah.
I don't just care for my lady.
I love her deeply. Yes, I know. That was obvious. The way he spoke about her spoke volumes of his affections for her. As Seo looked at me, a flash of realization rushed over his eyes. What?
You're human, so you would understand.
Yeah, okay. Understand what? Love?
Love.
Yes, of course. I'm an expert. I stared at him, knowing the meaning of the word, but not understanding what he meant by saying it. What about love? Yeah.
Well,
what? For a moment, Seo looked back to the saber in his hand before shaking his head. Oh, come on. Let me give you some advice on love because you seem to need it. Let's have a sleepover.
Never mind. It's nothing.
No? Okay. No girly talks? Okay, whatever. I wanted to ask more, but a pair of footsteps echoed through the room from the door, causing me to turn around to see who it was. Probably Diana. Hey, girl. Hey, homegirl. Diana, lightly glistening with a thin layer of sweat and wiping her brows, stepped into the room with a smile. I could hear Seo's breath hitch softly as Diana walked in. She did a small hair toss, most likely to get some cool air behind her neck, before looking to her guard and my trainer. And he was like, God damn, the way you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed!
How is training going?
Great. Great.
Going fine, my lady. How are the airs?
Look at him stutter. So funny, so cute.
They're strong, but not strong enough. At least not yet. It will take more time to get them up to par with where they need to be for the war. They've been in the human world for too long, and they've lost their sense of real battle.
Well, you know, they got a week, and they can do it. It's alright, I have faith. In haste, Diana looked to me and held up her hand towards me as if to ask for forgiveness.
No offense to you, of course.
No, I'm fine. No, I'm great. It's alright. Offense taken. Offense taken. Just deadpan like offense taken. It's fine. I'm alright. It's alright. I understood the human world was vastly different from the demon world, so the boys had become humanized and softened. Still, I was sure that they would train hard and become better than the demon lord. Yes.
Anyway, I was just taking a break and wanted to check in. Had to make sure you didn't kill our guest, Sarah.
Well, he nearly did, but you know what? I'm hard to kill. That's his only downside.
I would never!
Diana's laughter filled the room as Sarah's face brightened to a hot pink tinge.
I'm merely joking. I trust you, Sarah. Besides, she can take care of herself.
Exactly. Ain't got nothing on this. Diana looked at me with a nod and a smile as if she knew that I would be okay, at least in Sarah's hands.
I'll leave you both be then. I'm sure that after we're finished training, your husband will want to replenish his energy. And it wouldn't do if you were still training here when he finishes.
True. Alright. Yeah, I got you. With that, Dana turned and walked out of the room. Seo and I kept our eyes on her before I looked over to the suddenly love-struck guard. His eyes were glued to the door that Dana left from, almost unblinking. So, hey, what about that love you're talking about? You know, I can give you some, pointers, Seo, let him stare for a little longer. I'll let him stare. It's because it's cute. There was no harm in letting him be weird for a little while. As he stared at the door, I stretched my neck. Yeah, you take your time. You just take your time. I'm gonna just rest here. Finally, Sable snapped out of it and looked to me, blushing and wide-eyed.
Sorry. Where were we?
It's all good. It's all good. Training. Yeah, training.
Training! Right. Let's go again.
Okay. Whatever you say. Actually, I'm a little surprised that Dana would say that her like the part where it's like, oh yeah, your husband would want to replenish his energy after he's done training. But I don't even know. Given the circumstances with Damien, like I don't know what's going on with him. In a complete reversal, Sayro's expression hardened to a serious stare at me. I nodded, knowing that the break we had was now over. Once more we trained and continued until dinner rolled around. As the soft echo of the dinner time bells reverberated through the halls of the castle, Sayro and I went our separate ways, him to his lady, me to my bedroom. Haha, they had a dinner bell. That's cute. I channeled my energy forward through the hall, wanting so much more to go back to the room, to flop onto the bed and sleep. However, something in my gut stopped me from moving as I approached my bedroom door. Are you having a mental breakdown in there, Damien? Huh? Something felt wrong, whether it was something in the air or my natural instinct screaming at me. Something was throwing me off and I couldn't pin down why. As a pain groan escaped the room, my suspicions were confirmed. Oh my god, are you experiencing some, like, withdrawals of going back into demon form or demon mode? I don't even know what's going on. I peeked into the bedroom to see Damien curled up in bed, gripping his head and pressing his knees to his chest. Uh-oh. Are you okay? Damien! Damien! I rushed over and knelt by the bed, now insanely worried. What was happening with him? As I got close, however, Damien jutted his hand out, facing his palm to me in a tense position.
Stop! Don't!
I think he's just going back through withdrawals, you know. I froze in place. His face was contorted to one of extreme pain, gritting his teeth and crushing his eyebrows together in a tight expression of agony. I couldn't tell what was going on, but whatever it was torturing him. Maybe it's all those 2 years worth of not having energy or not needing the need of it, and now it's just all crashing down on him in one go. Damien finally shook his head, digging his fingers further into his head.
Please, just stop!
Or he's hearing all the thoughts of the people again. Uh-oh. Try to help, stop doing anything. I want to help you! I want to help you! I needed to find some way to help him. I began to think of everything I could do. Get the brothers, get Diana, get someone to heal him. I could hold him close and try and soothe him. Yeah, I can hold you in my arms. However, the more I thought of things to do, the more Damien began to close in on himself, shaking. My eyes widened in realization. He was getting bombarded by with thoughts, and I was adding to it. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, there we go. Confirmed. At that moment, I let my mind go blank, hoping it would help calm Damien down. As I did, Damien continued to shake, but not as violently as he did before. However, a full minute passed and nothing had changed. I began to instinctively worry, but I forced the feeling into my chest and continued to let my head remain empty of thought. Damien attempted to take deep breaths, trying to calm down further, but to no avail. Oh god. Remember your breathing exercises. I don't know how you did it before to keep those thoughts in check, but just try to recall back. I became even more worried than before. What was I supposed to do?
Libera mente tua.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Diana. The sound of Diana's voice echoed through the room, forcing me to turn around and look at her as she stood in the doorway. She stared hard at Damien, holding a hand out to him. Her fingers and palm began to glow a dark purple color, like a flame dancing over her skin. Oh. Damien slowly rolled onto his knees on the bed, still gripping his head and growling to himself as Diana slowly approached him, holding her hand close to his forehead, tilting his head. Wait, holding her hand out close to his forward, tilting head. Yeah, okay.
Libera mente tua.
Okay. What's that supposed to do? The flames around Diana's hand sparked, intensifying in its glow as Damien winced and hissed out from the sting of pain. I continued to remain still, not wanting to add to the pressure in Damien's head, but confused as to what Diana was doing. Maybe she's just quieting his thoughts, I don't know, or making a mental barrier or whatever. Very slowly, Damien's head began to glow the same purple color before a stream of purple energy began to trickle from him towards Diana's hand. As it connected, the energy around Damien's head began to fade at last, and Damien's tense form began to relax. Diana tensed her hands and caused the flames around her skin to wrap around itself, forming an orb above her palm as she turned it towards her. As it settled into a physical purple ball, she grasped it and let it shatter in her hand. Okay. Glass and blood began to trickle from her closed grip as Damien finally released a breath of air, slamming his hands down on the mattress beneath him and curling himself further over his knees. You okay, bae? Damien, oh my god, you okay? I instinctively reached over and placed my hands on his arm, feeling the cold sweat run down them from the struggle he was fighting against earlier. He was paler than before, but his face slowly melted into to an expression of calm relief. I looked back at Diana, seeing her lift her hand to her mouth and lick over her new wounds. Blood trickled down her arms, but she managed to catch most of it with her tongue unfazed by Damien's sudden relaxation or my stare. Thanks, homegirl, but like, damn. What did you do? Diana kept her focus on her arm and hand as she replied.
I did something that his brothers should have done a long time ago. Placed a barrier on his mind.
Right. Yeah, that would have been really helpful. What? I furrowed my eyebrows in confusion, not understanding what she meant. As Diana finally looked back at me, she let out a sigh at my expression. So I was right. Again, I was right. I'm totally getting this.
He can read minds, but he can't control it. However, imagine putting a bubble around his thoughts. He wouldn't be able to hear anything but his own. This is precisely what I have done.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Then what was that energy you pulled from him?
That was something that shouldn't have been there. It's nothing to be concerned about. Right, Damien?
Well, okay. Again, I became more confused. However, I looked up to Damien to see him looking up at Diana with almost a forced thankful look. I could tell he was grateful for the assistance, but I could tell that he was still angry with her, yes.
However, that spell won't last forever. He'll need to maintain it using energy. But I'm sure you can provide that, correct?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I don't care. Anything to help. I was lost, but I understood what she was saying, nodding in acknowledgement. Don't question it. What did you take from Damien? But I want to know what you took from Damien. That unnecessary thing that was in his head. I wanted to know exactly what was going on. The confusion that was going on throughout the day of Damien's well-being was too much to ignore, and I needed to sort it out, and if not for him, then for my own sanity. Diana gave me a firm look, crossing her arms. She's not going to tell me.
A little piece of the demon lord that has been haunting him. Happy?
Okay, that's all I need to know. All right. What? Diana shook her head and let out a sigh.
He can explain if you're that curious.
Okay, yeah, I am curious. Diana then turned on her heel and walked towards the door. Before she left, however, she turned back and looked to Damien.
Be careful how much you feed. You've been without energy for too long. You'll be craving soon.
Yep, I figured. With those haunting words, Diana finally left the room as Damien laid his head on mine. He let out a tired sigh as I looked up at him, lost as ever. Yeah. You okay? Just from his expression, I could tell that he was just beyond relieved to be out of whatever torture the mind reading had forced upon him. It was something he never wanted, and yet he had to endure for the day until Diana blocked his mind. Well, yeah. Why she didn't do it before was beyond me, but at least he was okay now. Well, she wasn't gonna do it right when he was like really pissed at her. He was just gonna choke her to death. The more I thought about it, the more a part of me began to question this situation. If Damien could block out his mind reading, then would it be possible for him to want to be a demon again? As a demon, he had many interesting abilities. Yeah, I mean, if that's the only issue of being a demon is reading mind, then you could just block it out 24/7. Then again, it was his decision, and from what he had told me about his past, he didn't want to relive any of it with the skin he was born in. Yeah, he didn't wish to relive any of it with the skin he was born in. I let the inner conflict wane as I cupped Damien's cheek, feeling him nuzzled into it. Right now, Damien needed some tender love and care, and I needed to provide it. Yeah, some TLC. Good old TLC. Are you okay? You okay? You good? You gooch?
I am now.
Good. I could hear the ease drip from his voice, making me smile. He was okay now. Yes. I slowly climbed into bed with him and wrapped my arms around his body, feeling him cuddle into my embrace and let out a hum of joy at the feeling. It was cute to see him like this, but then again, he was cute to begin with. Exactly. Precious pumpkin. Another reason why I loved him. I ran my hand slowly through his hair as I let him settle down from the ordeal he went through. I could tell he was exhausted, just like I was. However, he began to speak, making me awaken enough to pay attention to him. Yeah, what's up?
I've been having nightmares, too.
Oh, yeah? Oh, so we have another thing we have in common. You have? Yeah, he's finally telling us. I looked down at Damien as he nodded and looked up at me. The dark circles under his eyes were much more prominent the closer I was to him, making me frown a bit at the sight. Still, he continued. Yeah.
Some sort of shadow kept visiting me and taunting me for my choices. It would change shape every time, and just now, it only helped in making my mind-reading abilities worse.
Oh, okay. So it changes? So then, Why does it sound like Diana? Damien. I gave Damien a small squeeze, making him lean up and kiss my cheek before nuzzling his head into my shoulder, continuing.
I didn't want to worry you with it because I thought it was a side effect to becoming human. But I guess it was right. I was always a demon.
Aw, I'm just gonna love you the same way as always. Like, that don't matter to me. I frowned even further and nuzzled his head gently. It's gone now, right? There's nothing you need to worry about anymore. Yeah.
I know.
Well, for now. It's gone for now. Damien and I held on to each other, both settled into the situation we were under. This was a large step for us, and we had to somehow deal with this most likely after we returned to the demon world. Yeah. Return to the human world, not demon world. We're already in the demon world. God. Would Damien get used to being a demon once again, or will he demand to try and become a human once more? I couldn't say for sure. Yeah. The exhaustion that plagued us took over us at last, driving us to sleep within each other's arms. Yeah, man. I half expected the night to be uneventful, but my thoughts began to plague me, trying to dissemble all my discoveries and everything that happened to us in my subconscious. And that's gonna generate a nightmare or some shit. I know. We were in the demon world, and Damien was back to being a demon, despite the fact that he never actually became human in the first place, even though Diana said that she had done it. The dizzying cycle of confusion waved around each thought, making them spin as I tried to organize and dissect them.
There's no use in trying, dear.
That really scared me.
Only become more confused in the end.
That totally startled me. Like that, it was silent and quiet, and then I was just like in my thoughts, and then suddenly you do this to me. Anyways, there we go. Of course, she's gonna have a nightmare. I mean, there was just no escaping it. So I'm gonna leave it here, you guys, and we're gonna continue on Damien's route in the next episode and see what this dark voice of Diana, shadow thing, whatever that's plaguing us, is gonna say in terms of taunting us more about, oh, you're so pathetic because, you don't even realize what's happening with your precious love, whatever the fuck she wants to say to me, whatever. I don't give a shit. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna continue on and then find out what other complications that may, happen in that time. So I will see you then. Bye!